All right, it's oh boy, what is today? Tuesday, December 30th, the end of 2025. I don't know about y'all, but I'm glad to move on to 26. 25 was a challenge for me. I'll just say, beautiful, grateful for all of it. It was all just made of love, but boy, sometimes it felt like love was ugly. Oh man. All right, let's see. We'll talk about anything you want. I called this episode The Root of Love, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. It just comes out and I'm like a monkey with a typewriter, basically like AI. So we can talk about maybe a little, we'll start with like what I mean by that. Hi, Jana, or Yana, and Pierre in Virginia, Iowa and Virginia. So, this little journey is such an interesting one because you go through all of this interesting unraveling and different insights arise, like, oh, everything's not substantial like I thought. Like, it's not actually a material world, but it shows up like that. But in experience, it's actually completely ephemeral. There's nothing permanent, no certainty, no predictability, no time, no space. Then you look more, there's no me, except for an appearance, a self sense, but no separate self that can actually be found in experience. So this kind of collapse into the abyss, into the void, is part of the apparent realization here. And at times that can be, as you can imagine, for the residual self personality conditioning, very disorienting. It can feel, different terms like nihilism, existentialism, these different kind of philosophical ideas can arise, but they're all more thought. They're more kind of trying to make something of something that you can't make anything of. But then, at least for me, it seems something kind of radical starts to happen where after everything empties out, you see a lot of your conditioning, you see your trauma, you see all your patterns of behavior, how you've been trying to get, achieve, or survive, or make yourself feel enough, make yourself feel seen, make yourself feel loved, do all the things. And after you start emptying that out, and that's seen as like, oh my gosh, what was that? And you've seen me express in all these different ways. Something starts to happen where now, and this is just a way of speaking, but you can start to be filled up again. And what is it that fills you up? And I don't know any other way of saying this, but to say that it's pure, unconditional, radiant love that is the fabric of the whole thing. It's nothing trying to be all of this, and it feels like love, and it just fills you up. And then all that stuff that you emptied out, all those hurts and traumas and patterns and habits, and they still appear and they still dance and they're seen to be made of love. They're made of the same thing. Abuse and abuser, abusee and abuser, they're love, dancing, expressing through the dysfunction of the human form. And there's a kind of a fullness to the whole thing. It's like, it doesn't mean you roll over and say that's all okay. It means that forgiveness, love for other and self, and the disillusion of other and self, and all of it is one swirling radiance. And it's felt. You can't talk about it even though I'm trying because we're doing video. But it just fills you up. You embody this realization, meaning mind can't know it, so what knows it? It knows it. It just wakes up to itself. This is all just ways of speaking. But it's just like, what? And you see it on people's faces. You see it in the pavement. In Jesus Christ Superstar, the musical, what did Jesus say? The rocks and stones themselves will start to sing. Andrew Lloyd Webber for the win. Cynthia, finally I caught alive. It's red-haired Cindy from the Georgia tribe. Have the best year, Z. Love you. I love you too, Cynthia. Kathleen says, are you smoking weed? No. Although I have dabbled in all the psychedelics and all they do is point you back to this love. They just get you in the room with it. They're like, okay, come here, kicking and screaming, go here, here. And what you see in that room is what you're able to see at that time. So it might just be trauma. It might be fear. It might be demons. It might be God knows what. It might be bliss. But at some point, it just shows you it's always been this. This is the love. This is the radiance. This is it. No need for drugs. No need for medicines. You know, there's a great story of Neem Karoli Baba, who was Ram Dass's guru in India and kind of famous guy. Beautiful book called Miracles of Love. Ram Dass wrote about stories about this guy. Really a tremendous being. And Ram Dass went to him and said, I've got this LSD. Like, what do you think about this? You know, oh great guru. And Neem Karoli Baba was like, give me that. How much is this? It's like 300 micrograms. How much is this? Another 300 micrograms. Like, these are like insane doses. They would make any person go insane. And he just goes, takes 3 of them. How long will it take to kick in? And Ram Dass is like 20 minutes to an hour. And he's sitting there. And then he pretends for a second to go crazy. He's like, whoa! And Ram Dass is like, oh shit, I killed my guru. And then he's like, nothing. 1 hour goes by, nothing. And he tells Ram Dass, he goes, when you remember God, and God is this, my friend Ishwar said this beautifully, love, this love that we're pointing at, is what's referred to as God. So when you're saying remember God, you're saying remember love, because God is love. Love is what's referred to as God in this way of speaking. I know some Christians are going to be pissed and some, God, everyone will be pissed. Beautiful, that's love too. So, so he says, when you remember God, you remember love. These things get you in the door, but you don't need them anymore, and they'll have no effect. So all of them are gates or tools, depending on how you use them. They can also be addictions, dependencies, distractions, traps. Also made of love. Also the great dance, Leela, the great dance. Susan Mosley, are you familiar with Peter Brown? You sound very similar, or just this radiant presence. Yes, my friend John Aston was a student or a good friend of Peter's and spoke very highly of him. And I read a little of one of his books recently because someone told me this. They're like, oh, you sound like Peter Brown. And then as I was reading it, I was like, well, I mean, the realization's the realization. So any of you, apparent yous, that will see this, realize this, will potentially resonate with those expressions because they're coming from that same place, the placeless place of this, where you couldn't be anywhere else. There's always only just this radiance. That's why Ram Dass wrote that book after he came back from India, Be Here Now. Be here now. There's nowhere else. Even here and now and be are all conceptual. But you got to talk, so you got to write a book, so what are you going to do? Hi, Radha. 2026 is your blank canvas. Paint it with courage, kindness, and unstoppable dreams. Happy New Year, 2020. That's beautiful. I like that. Yep, Sue. Hi from Germany, Waldy. Dankeschön for coming. I hope I said that right. Dinesh says, and I'm the one that went to the Parsi temple Fire Temple in Toronto. I messaged you photos. Oh, yes. Gorgeous. That's my people, the Parsis. There's a Neem Karoli ashram in Taos. I went last year. Oh, Dinesh, tell me, was there a vibe there? because people say that he still transmits despite leaving his body in 1973. Actually, he died just a few months after I was born. And I was in India when he died because my mother took me there when I was 6 months old. And I stayed there till I was about 1.5 years. So I was there about a year. My dad was back in New Jersey doing his second residency. And so for all I know, I crossed paths. You never know. Toddy says, OMG, how are you, Doc, straight out of NYC? Oh, NYC is my favoriteest place. We went this summer and it was just amazing. I fell in love with all of it. All of it. Flushing, Queens, Midtown, downtown, uptown, Central Park. And I'm a Jersey boy. I'm born and raised till I was 8, but left when I was 8. So I feel like it was raw. I was stolen away to come to California, and I want to go back, except for the weather. Dinesh says, I'll message you when they smudged. I took Palo Santo and sage with me there. Oh, cool, man. Ted says, I'm still in medicine, but I'm happy to interact with you with or without Doc Vader's permission. Well, don't get me started. You don't need Vader's permission, as you know, to hang out. We can always mix in some medicine. Dave Dean, thanks for the stars, brother. Oh, cool. Dinesh's going to send me the video. So that's what we're talking about, is this radical root love that we've been talking about the whole time. We just didn't know it. Yeah, Ted. Vader for the win. I have his helmet right in there because I'm in the studio today. I forgot to tell you guys that's where I am. This is the outside. Here, let's go on a little walkabout real quick. So this is the outside of the studio. This is the kitchen and where I'm doing my little broadcast from. And here's the actual studio, but we're not going to go in there because it is currently a mess. And here's some, let's see, some different art and things. Yay! Oh, check this out. This one's crazy though. We got this from an artist in China who does these laser etched, so it's 3-dimensional wood carvings that are laser etched that he stacks. And it has this beautiful 3-dimensional depth to it. Yeah, I really love this thing. My wife found it because she's way better than me at all these things. And then one other thing I want to show you guys, this is one of our supporters who I just got this lovely video from today. And this is her, she calls it her parts art. So when she was doing sort of internal family systems work on herself, going back for trauma and things like that, and I'm not doing this justice at all, but that emptying out process I was talking about to re-expose that radiant love that was there as a child. You remember it. Do you remember it? Do you remember being a kid that just everything was love? We just didn't have a word for it because there's no need for words for it. It's just magic. So when you empty that out, going back for that child, you know, these little parts come out. And she had mentioned each of these as one of her little internal children in her internal family that needed to be seen, wanted to express, had been silenced or not given a voice or not thanked, not allowed, you know? It's beautiful, this whole thing, the whole journey. It's love. It really is. Got a yoga mat on the ground, like I'm gonna do yoga today. I'm just feeling lazy, bro. Evelyn says, pointers towards truth that may seem hidden yet reflected everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. They're everywhere. They're in your cereal in the morning, you know? They're all over the place. Everything is pointing at itself, at reality, at this fundamental truth, this love. But to get that clarity, it seems, at least here, how it seems is you got to lose everything. You got to empty it out. You got to allow it, give it back into that, because it never was yours, because yours is a thought. It's all that is. That's all that is. That's what you is. never separate from this. Patrick says, I perceive love as our default setting. Dwelling on past and future develops regret, anger, PTSD, fear, worry, etc. Living in the present removes all that, leaving only love and contentment. That's like you clean the mirror so you can see what's actually there. It's just bright reflection of what is. It's reflecting itself. But the truth is, even that anger, PTSD, regret, living in past, living in future, that's this too. That is also this. It's also this radiance. And there's a realization where that can actually be felt. It's like the worst thing that's ever happened to you, you can just feel is this, made of this radiance. And that's not to excuse bad things. It's not to say things don't feel bad. They do, absolutely. But ultimately, that's the substance of it. That's the good news, right? Thoughts on trauma therapy, Brianna. There are many different approaches to trauma, and I think they all can have their place at the right time. It's important if you've had trauma, I think, you have to do this work in some way. It'll show up. If you don't, you can be exposed to these kind of realizations, and they can feel terrifying. The body can recoil because the body's like, nope, not safe. So that's the work. That's the love working itself out, is trauma. So don't be afraid of that stuff. Well, it is scary to the person. It's scary to the sense of the separate self. And that's okay. It can be overcome. And you won't do it. It'll be a surrender. You'll be surrendered in a way. Sheila says, hello, Z-Dog. Happy New Year. My husband passed on Christmas. Oh, but life goes on. Love your encouraging words and energy, Sheila. I'm sorry. Christmas. Yeah, I have a friend who lost his mother on Christmas, and so that day takes on a new resonance. But Sheila, I think I can tell by the way you express that you already know this, that there's nowhere he would go, if you know what I mean. Another way of saying that is love can neither be created nor destroyed. It's just like energy. So it's like a phase change. Anytime we think about death, we're wrong. There's nothing that can be thought about. In fact, death is a concept. So, yeah, really sorry for your loss. Brandon says, in the end, there's only unity. Love moves us towards this inevitable outcome. Yeah, it's, man, even unity is tough. Like another way you could say this is not two, never one. None of that. Not many, not one. Also many and one. It's a total paradox for the mind. This is all there is. Everything, all past, future history exists here. This. So even oneness, you can have experiences of oneness, but there are experiences, there are thought forms, emotion forms. This is even, that's why they use the term non-dual. It's not two. They don't say all one, although people express that way. It doesn't mean all one is wrong, because it can be felt like that, but even dropping the idea of unity, then what? Just what is. No way it needs to be, no place you're going to, no place you're coming from, just what is. And all that is this. And then that opens like a flower, like a lotus, just shows you all the things that aren't things. The radiance, the love, all these words, they're just words, but yeah. Sue says, in your opinion, what exactly is the pain body, unhealed shadow energies? So we talked about this in the last live. Pain body is an Eckhart Tolle expression. It's basically the conditioning. It's all the energies that have accumulated. You know, the Hindus would call it karma. The Buddhists would use karma maybe as a term. It's this accumulated, conditioned energy, and it can be traumatic, it can be reactive, it can be painful, it can be ancestral, it can be communal. So Jung talked about the collective shadow, Carl Jung. Jewish people have the Holocaust as a collective trauma. Americans have the Civil War to some extent, still in parts of the country. And the pain body is something that when it's not made conscious, it hijacks identity. It becomes you. So you suddenly go unconscious and become reactive. You're suddenly acting out in these ways that seem totally maladaptive. And at one point they might have been adaptive when the trauma originally happened, but now they're not. And you just look crazy. And then you're like, why did I do that? That to me is what pain body is. So what to do about the pain body? Well, this is the thing, because this idea that you have some control over this is not true. What may be true is you can allow the seeing of all of that, and then you see what's happening. You see why you do the things you do, and that's enough. Sometimes it just dissolves. Sometimes it shows up, but it has no power. Sometimes it keeps hijacking you until it doesn't. Yeah, pain body. You know when it shows up too, when you're aware. Because then when you're living really consciously, it's like, oh shit, I just got hijacked by my shit. You can feel it. And then there's a natural tendency that seems to arise that wants to attune to it, like, ooh, let me look there. And there's almost a little subtle excitement, like, ooh, there's something I haven't seen, something I haven't welcomed, something I haven't allowed, something that hasn't been given space to express and has been resisted, and so it's persisted. Maybe. I don't know. I'm making this shit up. It's just coming out of my mouth. I have no idea. I really don't. I have my own experience and I'm sharing that, but I don't know what's what. I don't know what causality is. I don't know what temporality is. Like, this happened in the past and now it causes this. I don't know what that means anymore. I know what it means and I don't, if you catch what I'm throwing. There's an unknowing here, a not knowing that facilitates all knowing of the mind. The mind is that not knowing love, like not knowing. It has nothing to do with mind. And nothing can be known because the thing that's knowing it is itself an appearance, mind. Thoughts going to thoughts, going to belief, going to memory, going to phantoms, phantoms, phantoms. Some of them are energetic, some of them are thoughts, some of them are sensations. Still just what they are, appearance. Perfect in being what they are, having nothing to do with good or bad. One may well burst out in laughter, says Longchenpa. Susan, great answer, thank you. Still processing this crap. Oh, the processing goes on till whatever death is, I think. Dinesh says, I'm fairly certain it's in the books you've reviewed. What are we talking about? There is no loss. I'm going back through your comments, Dinesh. Those that we lose are close to us, will always be with us. Yes. Dave, thanks for the stars. Yeah, I mean, All the stuff speaks of this in different ways. Some of it's right, some of it's just kind of made up, but it's all pointing, I think, from this same thing. Waldy says, do you sometimes feel lonely, really lonely, even among people? You just accept it because that is reality? Something I have to accept and go through it. Your thoughts on the subject? Yeah. So loneliness in this adventure is a recurring companion. Some of this loneliness is societal ostracization. So you kind of see things more and more as they are, which means society doesn't make sense except as another construction and appearance. It becomes less possible for you to play that game knowingly. And it can be very lonely. So people are talking about all their shit, and you're just going, don't know that that resonates at all anymore. And then, there's the existential loneliness of knowing that there's only this, nothing else. No past, no future. Constant free fall. All you're ever seeing is you. And everybody else you see is a manifestation of capital S self, if there's such a thing, meaning it's all this. So there's no separation. So in a sense, that creates a kind of a existential loneliness, but for who? For the residual sense of the separate self that's still clinging to the things. And that can relax, that can go. But it is a big phase. But the human loneliness, for me, that was a big deal actually over the last couple of years. I say 2024 was worse for that. 2025 started to integrate that. Now the way it feels for me is, it doesn't matter where a human is, it doesn't matter where they're expressing from, that's where I'll be with them. Because they're me. So it's just, oh yeah. And the thing is, it's nice that we remember what that's like and can energetically feel it and go, yeah. And so that loneliness starts to soften. It starts to feel more like loveliness. From loneliness to loveliness, where it's all loveness, it's all this same stuff. And that means sometimes you're miserable. Sometimes you're feeling other people's misery and it's yours. So you feel it fully, but it doesn't stick. That's the difference. It's felt, and the act of compassion is to feel it and witness it fully and then let it go, because there's self-compassion for this being, which is, it doesn't want to suffer all day with the collective trauma or someone else's trauma or its own trauma, when it can be felt, acknowledged, thanked, and let go. Oh yeah, I know Dan. I know of Dan's films, Susan. Very cool. Patrick, loneliness is created by the need for external validation. Happiness happens when you accept yourself. So external validation is one of the last things to seemingly go, because we're social creatures, and that's deep pain body conditioning. That's deep mammalian conditioning. Like, we need our tribe to accept us or we will die. That's how we're evolved, conditioned. That's the karma of humans. So a loneliness can happen when you don't feel that validation. And that need for validation starts to go when the one who needed it starts to dissolve, starts to be seen through. The self itself, this sense of me, in my experience, it's not that it goes away. It's that it's seen for what it is moment to moment. It's an appearance. It's like a structure like any of this. happening now as part of all of this, with not separate from any of it. So the belief in a separate abiding self goes, but the arising energetics of the separate self or the self can still arise. That's my experience currently. That may go too. I've heard that it does. Honestly, I don't care one way or the other. I've stopped trying to seek some outcome, although probably subtly there's a little vestige of seeking. Sandy says, you're explaining grief to me as an easier way to deal with it. Yeah, grief, Sandy, that becomes, as part of this, grief. So we're talking about love, right? Love and grief are the same thing. Why would you have grief? Because there's love. There's a sense that you've lost something, and there's this love and yearning and longing for it, an appreciation for it, a yearning for it, a grieving for it. That's what it is. But grief itself is just another beautiful movement of that love. And nothing is gained or lost ever. That's the crazy thing, because this is just radiant. What the fuck is this? Total mystery. What is it that could be lost here or gained here, and for whom? Everything is complete in every moment, everything, all of it, especially and including the feeling of loss, grief, longing, yearning, missing, loneliness, existential terror, all of it. Anger. Anger comes up. Oh boy, does anger come up. All these boundary emotions, just like that have been suppressed because they're unsafe. Now they're safely expressed. You go scream in the car, you scream into a pillow, you set boundaries with people that have been, maybe you've not done that with. It's a compassionate act. It's an act of love. Fear, Sandy, big one, yep. Hi, Patricia, in New Mexico. Yeah. I mean, there's 56 people watching right now, December 30th, Tuesday morning. Why are you watching this? Are you watching it? Or is this just thising together, all of this, us? Isn't it something? Like, I feel it. I don't know. Can you feel it? Especially live. That's why I like live video. Because, like, here we are. Isn't this crazy? This is it. This is what I'm pointing at. This. It's now. Here we are. Nowhere else. It's always been this. What have you been looking for? Look, just look right here. It's this. So much of our lives looking for that child that's always been sitting here, waiting, like looking at his watch. Are you back yet? Looking at her watch, looking at their watch. I'm pronoun independent. Evelyn says, absolutely, it resonates with me like a tuning fork. Right? Wayne, been a minute. Perhaps it helps to consider the experience as 2 tracks. Oh, Wayne Shepherd. Like stereo. That's right. I remember, I believe, you talking about this, if I'm remembering correctly. On track 1 is the dreaming experience of everything that seems to be happening, while on the other, it's the perfect stillness where nothing is happening and all is unfolding perfectly just as it is. Okay, let me read what Wayne says again, because Wayne told me this maybe 2-3 years ago on a phone call. If this is the same Wayne we're talking about. I hope you're doing well, by the way. I was actually standing right here talking on the phone with you, Wayne, because I'd read something that you'd sent me, and it was so clear. I was like, yeah, Wayne knows. Wayne has seen this. Yeah, you told me, I'll read it again. Experience is like two tracks, like stereo. I think we were both audio nerds. On track one is the dreaming experience of this, where mind is overlaying everything with substance, permanence, predictability, names, labels, forms. And on the other track is this perfect stillness, total, empty, radiant potential. And they are playing in stereo, meaning they're both happening at the same time. And that's saying too much. We're already making a separation. They're the same thing. And it can just be experienced as empty, no thing, loving itself into form without any delay. Just that's what it is. And it's perfect, meaning not that it doesn't have pain and trouble in it, trouble from the mind standpoint. It's perfect in that it is exactly as it is. It couldn't be other. And there's no problem here. Ultimately, there's nothing wrong. Never has been. Nothing lost, nothing gained, nothing missing, nowhere to go. And yet the appearance of a journey, appearance of a hero's journey, appearance of a life, appearance of all the things, whoa, what a miracle. Both at the same time. Left channel, right channel merge into a stereo experience from the standpoint of experience. And then the experiencer drops, and there's just that. There's just that. No need for a witness of it even. Not to. Awesome to see you, Wayne. Awesome, Maureen. I love you guys so much. Like the Facebook crew when we go live is just, oh, I feel it. Like it's so beautiful reading the comments. Sandy, I'm glad. Can you talk about experiencing despair instead of laughter? Oh yeah, Anne. Oh sure. I mean, I've talked a lot about how when I drop into that, like really that stillness is so obvious that nothing was ever really happening, I just start giggling. But there are other times where it's like, what arises then is just pure fucking despair. Like, no! Because the mind wants a foothold. It wants to make something of it. It wants its whole life as a video game character and all the experience points it's built and all its treasures to be real, to mean something. It wants meaning, for God's sake. And there's none to be found there except what we create. And that can feel like despair until it doesn't. Because the one that feels that is that constellation of contracted energy that feels like it's separate. Of course it would despair. It didn't want that. This is not wantable for that. There's no way. Just no way. Tweak this a little for fun. Let me scroll down. Oh, that's sweet, Dinesh. I'm glad it comes through that way. Wayne says, yep, it's me. Currently living in the mountains of Colombia. God bless you, Wayne. Glad to see you still seem to be happening. Yeah, you too, brother. I know you're going through some stuff, so hopefully that's settled down. Yeah, Colombia. Damn. You're living the dream, man. Hopefully you're growing and smuggling cocaine. No right and wrong, right? Krista, it's thising, plus I have the day off, so it was meant to be. There you go, my Greek vampire. Patrick says, I guess I'm watching because I'm seeking truth and I perceive that you point to some truth. Not that I accept it blindly good, but that I reflect on it and perceive the truth in it. Exactly. And when you leave comments and we bounce off each other, there's something that like radiates off it, right? Some kind of truth, whatever that is. Yeah. Beautiful. I'm so glad you're here. Roxanne, I haven't seen you in a long while. You showed up in my feed. I feel your positive and authentic energy. That is awesome. It's nice to show up again after an absence. The algorithm's funny. It'll show you what you need to see when you need to see it, whatever that is. RVS! Ronald Vector Stokes, good to see you. Still hanging in there. The best Christmas present was to beat the cancer odds another year. You know, RVS, if anybody's going to do that, it's you. I know you've been going through the chemo and all that hellacious hell. But bro, you got all the love here from the tribe. You know that. That's awesome. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Hopefully 26 is another kick-ass, you know? RVS. Angie. Hi, can you tell me how to get my appetite back, please? I think I have long COVID. It's horrible. You know, you could share some of that no appetite with me. I'd be all right with it. Just kidding. That's a complex question, right? Because is it a problem that your appetite's gone? What's the root of that? Like, there's a million things, right? And I can't give medical advice, but I could just say, like, sometimes interesting things happen. I lost my appetite in the beginning of the year. For months, I was eating hardly anything, and it wasn't depression. Now it's back, but I find I walk a lot more, so it kind of balances out. I don't know. Yeah, I hope you feel better, though. Hadar! Nice description of the same thing. Hey, good to see you. So Hadar, I hope I'm saying that right, or is it? Yeah, I'm probably mispronouncing it. Shared with me this, a friend or associate of his had generated this AI non-duality playlist, and one of the songs is called Even the Doubt is Alive, and it's so good. And I shared it on the Facebook Awakening channel and on Locals. So you can go on my Facebook page and join the Awakening channel. It's a messenger group. It's got about 8,000 people, and they're all interested in awakening stuff. So I shared the link to that there. So definitely check it out. It's amazing, actually. What AI can do. Like, I can, as a musician, I'm listening to it going, yeah, you know, there's some, obviously it's AI, but just the feel, the lyrics, the pointing at truth is powerful. It all comes together in that track. It's really good. So I'm glad you shared it with me, and I could share it with other people here. Ooh, Patrick's in the mountains of Panama. Dude, you guys are living the dream. Oh, COVID and RSV, Angie. You got it. Oh, man. I send some positive juju your way. Hi, Deborah. I'm grateful for you. Chris, tons of Escobar cash still hidden in Colombian caves. That's right, brother. We'll have to go dig it up, man. It's just waiting for us. Brandon, next VP ZD. As soon as VP stops being at FDA, he can't do anything while he's there. He's not allowed. We talk regularly. Holly says, same, I lost weight in October. Now I'm finally getting it back. Seasons love to you and yours, you all. And thanks, Z Dog. Oh, thanks, Holly. Hi, Ashley. So yeah, that's what's up, man. Radiant love, all of it. Oh, let me see something here. I was wondering if I... Oh, okay, I didn't have that on. That's good. Oh, I wonder... Oh, you can tweak the light and stuff here. Like, doop. Whoa. I don't know what I did there. I'm not sure I like it. I'm going to turn that off. Okay. So, Apple stuff. Sound good? Video good? I'm using my phone in the studio. I'm just trying to I tweaked the mic settings a little, try to make it a little more clear. Hopefully it's okay. All right. Well, I think we're good today. We're onward with our day. Thanks for hanging out this morning. This was fun for me. I always love to connect in this way because it just points, like, I don't know where whatever I'm saying is coming from, and it points right back and reconditions my own shit, what's left of it. And I totally dig it. It's great to see Wayne too, man. Wow, that's awesome. And RBS says the sound and video are great, awesome. Sylvia, getting a cold. Okay, all the love's gonna cure you. It'll be exactly what it is. All right, Dinesh. Thanks, Kaz. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again. Love y'all, and we out. Peace.